Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the Jack and the Beanstalk portfolio overhaul. And today I am drawing Jack, the Goose, and the Harp. So first off, we're starting with Jack, and I had a lot of fun kind of just brainstorming him. So I'll just explain kind of what I was doing here. I first started with trying out a couple different headshots in my sketchbook and just kind of playing around with what type of look I wanted to give him. Like, did I want more of a broader chinned, stronger individual, or did I want him like to be more petite and thin, or kind of an in-between? And then I also thought about like what type of hair color, skin color was I thinking? Did I want any type of accessories, things like that? And I ended up going with the middle design. I really liked the combination, like I liked the certain tone for his skin, it matched the eyes very well. And then I also liked the head wrap, which is one of them that I found online when I was searching, because I was just looking around to see kind of what Indonesian men and boys look like, and just what makes, like, gives what distinctive features they have. And one of them, I saw a couple actually that had this very similar head wrap with a side, I guess it's not a bow, but part of it coming out the side, like the end of it. And I really liked how that looked, so I kind of ran with that design. And so then after I figured that out and decided on, I guess, which headshot to go with, I then experimented with it at different angles with different expressions, and kind of developed his character a little bit more. So some of the expressions I kind of struggled with deciding what type of expressions I wanted. Because one of the things when you're developing these character sheets is you have to also think about like what emotions they have and kind of what their attitude is, because then that completely changes who the character is. For example, if you have a cocky, arrogant character, most of his headshots should kind of reflect like that type of attitude. Or if you have more of a timid, shy character, most of the headshots will reflect that attitude. So it kind of depends what type of character you want, and that'll make a difference on the headshots. So what I ended up going with, I think, yeah, right here I'm around the point where how I envisioned it, he's seeing the giant for the first time and is a little frightened. I really enjoyed that one. It was a bit of a challenge though. I couldn't get the expression right. Like, so at some points the eyebrows didn't look right, and just a lot of the facial features weren't syncing together and really giving the expression I want. And oh yeah, also I worked on this during one of my Saturday live streams. I think it was Saturday, or was it Monday? I don't remember. I think this was the first Saturday live stream compared to my Monday one that I had before. So yeah, during one of my Saturday live streams, I also worked on this Jack and the Beanstalk piece. I think I only got to Jack in the live stream. But as you can see here, I was experimenting with some clothing because I found some ceremonial dancing garb. Like, they dress as one of the gods or deities and then had a certain outfit with it. And I kind of liked how the pants looked, but I ended up not going with that. It just looked kind of odd when I drew it. So then it's hard to find, there's not really any photos of, I guess you'd call it traditional wear. There's like, it looks like wedding or ceremony or festival type of wear. But I don't know if there's like traditional wear. I did some research and tried to find what would be classified as traditional or like everyday traditional. But when you look up traditional, it is like the old time ceremony garb, or like what you'd wear for a wedding or different things like that. So I ended up going with that design, but I dirtied it up because in Jack and the Beanstalk, if I remember correctly, Jack and his family were really poor. So I just wanted to make sure it looked like he wasn't in really fancy, nice attire. It had dirt and grime and kind of aged a bit. So yeah. Oh, and then I'm working on a couple more headshots. I thought he's kind of the, at least in my mind, he's kind of like a character that's like, oh yeah, right, yeah, sure, you do that, he's like super sarcastic. That's how I see him, at least. A little sarcastic, kind of a bit mopey, but yeah. Yeah, these headshots were kind of to reflect the sarcastic, judgmental, well, not judgmental, like sarcastic and skepticist. Yeah, there we go. So those were fun to draw. Yeah, so on that one, I was working on the scared giant one, and that one was fun. It was just a little, like I said earlier, a little interesting of an angle. But overall, I've been having a lot of fun with this redesign. Just to let you guys know, it is past the 11th, but the CTN Expo portfolio review, there was an extension. So luckily, it wasn't like I didn't have to break my neck to get this done. Thank goodness. But I was basically already done by the 11th. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to submit it. And I'm kind of glad I did, because there was only, I think it was 12 slots to include art. And there was other art that I wanted to include. So if I had one more page of this, I wouldn't have had room for all the other pieces I wanted. So I'm really glad that I finished on the 11th, for one. And then two, I didn't make too many extra pieces of art that weren't absolutely needed. So yeah, with that, I can happily announce that all of my CTN Expo portfolios are submitted. I submitted for Disney TV. They have and DreamWorks, and then they have an all studios one, which they have lots of different studios, like I saw on the list. Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney's gonna be there also, at least I think it was. DreamWorks and a bunch of other major and smaller studios will be there. And then I'm trying to think, and then I also submitted for a general character design critique, because I really like my skills and I feel like I've grown a lot, but I'm always open for feedback from professionals, like just letting me know how I can improve my art. So I just wanted to sign up for a critique to see, what do I need to improve in my portfolio to give me a chance of working in this type of field or getting this type of career path. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, not terribly. I want to get into one of them. Like, if I don't, there's going to be artists there that I can show my portfolio to. But at the same time, I really, really want to get into a critique or a portfolio review from a studio. Just one of them, I really want to just be able to show my stuff and go from there. But yeah, it's kind of all up to fate right now. So we'll just have to see. And I feel with me submitting at least earlier, I don't know if that type of stuff kind of helps your chances or doesn't. It's just nice to get it off my plate, and it's nice to have it done. So it looks like I'm getting pretty dang close to finishing up Jack. I'm just doing a couple more little shadings, and then I'll do a overall look. So next up, we'll do Goose and the Harp. All right, so we are starting with the Goose and the Harp. So I had a lot of fun with this one. I was going to do kind of two different angles for both the Goose and the Harp, but like I said, I realized I didn't have as many pages as I thought I would for the portfolio review, and I just didn't have the room. So I just wanted to show, like, look, I can draw this, I designed this, here's a look. So what I ended up doing was I do one angle of the Harp and one angle of the Goose, and then I also do a sketch of them interacting with Jack, because that's from what I've heard from people in the industry, along with a couple of my friends who have also submitted for these portfolio reviews, is that one of the things that they look for is interactions. Like, you can draw some pretty amazing turnarounds and such, but you need to be able to show how characters interact with props or how other characters interact with other characters, just to show that you understand like how they can share space or even like what their personalities are together. There's a lot of things that go into that. So I've been encouraged by a lot of people to make sure to keep that in my portfolio. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do for this one. And then just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So even for this, I looked up a lot of reference for Indonesia. First of all, the goose is actually one of them that is native to Indonesia. I think it's called the magpie goose. And it's a really cool looking bird. Like, at first I was thinking about going, like, really embracing the golden goose idea and making it just black and gold, because the original goose is black and white. But then I thought about it and I remember the fairy tale or the folklore. I thought I remember it saying that it looked like a normal goose, but it just sprouted these golden eggs. And I was like, I think that's what it said. You know, I should probably roll with that, because that'd probably make more sense than literally it's a goose made out of gold, because I don't think that's what it was. I think it was just a normal goose with golden eggs. So I was like, I just colored it how the actual one is. And the harp is actually really cool, because I was just looking up instruments from Indonesia, and it literally is an Indonesian harp. Like, it is their version of a harp. It's called a sasando, I believe is how you pronounce it. Sasando, I think. But it's this really interesting, like, shape. When I first saw it, it's basically this dome, I guess you could call it, that's containing this pillar with all the strings on it and pegs. And then at the top, it has kind of looping, I guess, the straw or the palm fronds or whatever is making up the dome. It has like these loops on the top. I'll put a picture of what it really looks like somewhere on here. But I was like, oh my gosh, there's a legitimate harp that's Indonesian. That works super well. And then on top of it, I was like, well, the dome kind of looks like a big skirt on a lady. And I was like, oh, I could easily make it the female harp that's from the original story. Because I think in the original story, the harp could talk and had feminine qualities, if I remember correctly. So I was like, you know, it translates so well. This is perfect. I'll just make the harp female, and this bottom half is kind of like this big poofy skirt. And it just, it made me so happy that worked out. And I had to text my friend. That's also, she's going to CTN Expo, and we've been talking back and forth about portfolios and other things. And I messaged her, I'm like, there's actually a harp that's Indonesian. Oh my gosh. So that like made my day and made my life so much easier, because I legitimately looked through, I'm trying to think, at least 20 to 25 instruments that are from Indonesia. And there was a couple that are kind of more similar. They're not guitars, but they were other string instruments, and there was a lot of drums and like cymbal type instruments. And I was just having the worst time trying to find what instrument to use for the harp. And when I finally found this, I'm like, oh, perfect. Yes, I got it. So I was really happy with this, and I think it couldn't have been better luck that I chose Indonesia for the Jack and the Beanstalk redo or whatever. All right, so it looks like I'm getting close to the end here. So it looks like I'm gonna finish up these little mini line arts and do a quick up close for you guys. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I covered Jack, the goose, and the harp. And then next episode, I'm going to be drawing the giant's castle. So that will be coming out next week, Friday. And then the week after, I will have my how to draw creature design. So thank you guys again for stopping by, checking out the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you want, you can hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of my art videos. or if you like this content and want me to redesign other folk tales or whatever, let me know. That would be pretty cool to do in the future. But yeah, thanks again, guys. Have an awesome Friday, and I will see you next week for the next art video. Bye, guys.